What's up guys, Kythegreat12 here. I'm back with another Forza Horizon 4 video. Starting it up and again in the Bentley again. And in today's video I'm doing a test versus drag tires and all-wheel drive. So they added this in Forza Motorsport 7, but I didn't really use it much in Forza Motorsport 7 because I didn't really play it much after they added the update. But I figured with the update, or with it now in Forza Horizon 4, it would be a good opportunity to go ahead to use them and see which one does better, because I am actually curious of that, because I do like doing a lot of drag racing in this game. So I thought it'd be cool to take a car and kind of upgrade the car a little bit in different stages and just see how they kind of compare to each other. So I want to choose this nice Camaro Z01 that is probably, I think, around 500-600 horsepower, and I'm just going to leave it stock real quick. And you can see at the launch we do get quite a bit of wheel spin on the launch there. And we're going to go and run it on the quarter-mile drag strip, because all this is going to be on the quarter-mile. And we're going to see what the different wheels do. And so, in this video, I'll kind of come over here, I'll do a little launch on it to see, and then I'll do the actual test to get the time for it. So you can see the launch here, we do pick up quite a bit of wheel spin in the beginning, but then we kind of flatten out and then keep it. So, alright, now we are gonna do the test to see with the benchmark time for the drag and all-wheel drive. So let's see. Get the wheel spin at the start, and then we go ahead and start putting the power down. We finish at a speed of about 122, and the time was 12 seconds and 0.045. So that is kind of the benchmark time for the other set of tires they're going to put in. So here I'm just putting on the drag tires, and then I'm not going to do anything. I didn't change anything in the car. The tires, the thickness and everything is the same. I didn't touch any of that. Everything's still stock on the car, except now it just has drag tires on it. So you can instantly see that there's no wheel spin anymore at the launch. The only thing I have noticed throughout this whole testing, though, is that with drag tires, you don't get any wheel spin, but it seems like there's a little bit delay in putting out the power. You can see here whenever I launch, it just seems like it doesn't start really putting out the power until it starts getting in the high RPMs in the first gear, and it takes a little bit to get to that with the drag tires. But let's see what the time is going to be on the quarter mile. I mean, you can instantly see that there's a huge difference in the launch. I mean, the other one, you wheel spin, then you picked it up. This one, you just instantly go. I didn't see what... Alright, so the first drag race is finished. We got a time of 11.478 on the drag tires. And so that beats the stock tires, which I kind of figured it would beat the stock on it. I mean, putting drag tires on there is a big thing in like real life, so I figured it would do it. But I'm gonna see what the all-wheel drive, how all-wheel drive stacks up to it. Putting all-wheel drive on there right now. So you can see we get looks like just a split second of slippage, and then they just instantly pick up and go. I think that these are going to be faster than the drag. You can see right there, we just kind of get a little bit of slippage, and then it automatically picks up the power. So we're going to go ahead and see what the time is. And we can see we instantly beat all the people off on the line, or all the other cars off on the line. And we're going to finish at a speed of 128 miles an hour. And the official time is 10 seconds, .777 for all-wheel drive, which gives all-wheel drive 1 point. So all-wheel drive 1, drag tires 0. And now I'm going to, what I do here is I go and start upgrading everything on the engine, but only the engine, and that is the only thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up, and I will be back whenever it's done. Alright, so with all that being done, as you saw, all I did was upgrade things in engine. I'm gonna leave all the tires and everything stock for now to go ahead and get a benchmark time for the drag tires and all-wheel drive, and then you can see we get a lot more wheel spin from the launch, so it's gonna be definitely harder to race it. It's gonna be harder to keep in a straight line for the drag strip and really get the best time. Yeah, we get a lot of wheel spin from the launch there. So let's go ahead and start up the quarter mile and let's see what kind of time we get. We get a lot. We start going into Cadillac, and as you can see, I actually had to let off the power for a second so that way I didn't just slam into him. And I finished at a speed of about 139 miles an hour with that, and I got an official time of 11 seconds and 0.778 for the upgraded with the stock tires. So that's our benchmark for the all-wheel drive and drag tires. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the drag tire compound on there, and I'm gonna see what kind of time we get. This should really help it with the wheel spin. It should reduce the wheel spin to almost nothing. Let's see, yeah, instantly coming out of the Horizon the festival. You can already see this getting better. It's doing better, more traction. Yeah, launching here once again, it instantly goes with like no wheel spin, but it does seem like it takes a little bit for the power to catch up to it. Let's see how it's gonna do in a quarter. So there's no wheel spin at all. You don't have any trouble driving it. It's so much better than stock. With stock, you couldn't hardly drive that thing. It was horrible. Alright, so I missed our finishing time there again. My bad. But we got 10 seconds and 143 with the upgraded drag tires. Well, 10 minutes. That if you finish that in 10 minutes, then you have a problem. But anyway, we're gonna go take the drag tire compound off, and we're gonna put the all-wheel drive tire back on, and we're gonna see what kind of time we get. Which I think it's. I already know the results. This is just a voiceover. But coming out, you can instantly see that we do not get any wheel spin off the line. Doing a launch here, you can see we get. No, we don't get. As I said before, when I said we don't get any wheel spin, we do get some wheel spin, but it's like it's wheel spin for like a split second, and then boom, it just instantly catches on and puts down the power and just goes. So here we get like a second of wheel spin, and then we're just going. And we have a finishing time of 147 miles an hour. Where that was the finishing speed. The finishing time is 9 minutes and 9 seconds and 743 with the all-wheel drive to it. And that means that the all-wheel drive has 2 and drag tire is 0. So right now the the all-wheel drive is definitely still winning, which proves that it may be the best for it. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of maxing the whole car out, and I will be back. Alright, coming out of the time lapse, We just basically maxed out everything in it, but the only thing I did not touch was the tires. Right now we're on completely stock tires, and the width hasn't been upgraded. There's no compound to it, there's no all-wheel drive, and this thing is almost impossible to drive right now. I mean, oh, it's so bad to drive. Doing the drag race, I thought about trying to retry it, but I decided not to. I mean, this thing was just, oh, it's so uncontrollable. It will not stay in a straight line to save its life. I mean, you can see here, I'm trying to keep it in a straight line. Whenever I launch, I wasn't even touching the stick, and it was just instantly going off to the side. So we're gonna see what this thing can do it at all. I mean, this thing is bad. We get the wheel spin, crash into a Mustang, and just start kind of making our way to the right side. And then finally around 4th gear it kind of picks it up, and we get a finishing time, or finishing speed of about 146 with a time of 12 seconds and 6:46 with the maxed out stock tires. So now we're going to go and do, once again, we're not going to do anything to the tires. All we're going to do is just put on the drag tire compound, and then we're going to see what time we can get. Now coming out, you can definitely notice a huge difference. I mean, this thing's actually drivable now. Now, of course, this is just a drag build that I'm doing, so you don't want to take this thing, you don't want to take this thing and do any kind of racing with it, especially now because I've gone back right now and I'm tweaking it now and I'm making it a drag car, and I'll tell you the time of it in a second, but with these drag tires on there, this thing is so much better to drive. It is actually drivable and manageable and very fast. So let's see what runs with the quarter. Alright, coming up in the race, and we're off. And I mean, this thing gets like no wheel spin. It does seem to lag a little bit in the beginning, but just straight on through. I didn't get the finishing time on there, I'm sorry. But we got a time of 9 seconds 3:09 with the maxed out drag tires, or maxed out with drag tires. And now we're gonna go on there, and once again we're not gonna touch anything else to the car. All we're gonna do is put it back on the stock tire compound, and I'm gonna go and put the all-wheel drive on it, and we're gonna see if the all-wheel drive can beat the rear or the drag tires. And at the launch, we seem to get a little bit of wheel spin, but not much at all. And you didn't see that. You didn't see that. This thing just, it seems to just put out more power whenever you have it on the all-wheel drive. Which, I mean, when you think about it, it is actually all full of tires and that voice crack though. Alright, so onto the quarter. We're gonna see what this thing runs. And once again, we get a little bit of slipping in the beginning, and then it just picks up and goes. And we finish with a time of 176 miles an hour. And with a time of 8 seconds 5:42, which means that the winner is all-wheel drive. Now I do decide to do a little bit more testing. So what I do here is I decide to take the all-wheel drive off, go back into the tires, put the drag tires back on, but then upgrade the tires and make them as wide as possible to see if that might give us a little better time. So I wanted to experiment with that, and I'm gonna see what kind of time I get. Coming out, this may not help too much with the drag tires, but it may give it just a little bit more traction and maybe just a little bit better time, and it could maybe beat out with the all-wheel drive tires. I mean, you never know. Alright, so let's see what this thing runs in the quarter. We got a demon next to us too. I still love those demons. Yeah, I saw we got a little bit of slippage, and that was it, and they kind of took off the line, but then we just blew past them. And we finished with a speed of 169 miles an hour, which was actually less than the stock, just all-wheel drive. We finished with a time of 9 seconds and 176 with the upgraded drag tires. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm actually going to put on the race tire compound, which is actually what I would use for the all-wheel drive, because if I was doing with the drag tires, that's the only compound that you could use. So I'm using the race tire compound with the all-wheel drive with the thick tires, and I'm gonna see what kind of time I get out of this one. This was like the setup that I always use for all the cars and Forza. So we're gonna see if this is the best setup to use. That guy's doing donuts in the back there. Yeah, I mean, this thing, it has a very good launch to it. And this is a good car itself too. I really like this car. Alright, so let's see what it runs on a quarter. But real quick, yeah, you can also go download this tune, because the tune should be out soon. I've been just finishing up tweaking it, and this thing can almost run 8.1 second flat. Alright, so we get a finishing speed of 174 miles an hour there, and we finished with a time of 8 seconds and 5:42 with the upgraded all-wheel drive. So now what I'm going to actually do is, for the last and final test, I'm going to see if this will actually help put all-wheel drive with the drag tires on there, with the thick tires, and I'm going to see if it can now be the fastest and the best way to do drag builds. And if so, then I'm going to be doing more drag builds like this, but I wouldn't do that to every car, because the drag tires are not the best to use whenever you're racing. I mean, they are like drag tires, so you wouldn't want to use them when you're racing. But we get an extremely good launch. Now, I definitely do tune this thing, because the first gear in this car was driving me crazy, so the first gear is fixed. But this thing, whenever you launch, it just instantly puts the power down. I mean, there's like no lag. I mean, just boom. There's like no lag. It just instantly starts accelerating. I mean, this thing is really nice. And it finishes with the speed of 8 seconds and 175 with both of them on there. So I think this could be like the ultimate build for it. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to download this tune, it should be out now by the time you're watching it. So just go type in my gamer tag, and if you have any suggestions for me, and you have any kind of videos you want me to do, then make sure you comment down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Y'all been eating long enough. It's my turn to cut the food. Pass the plate with my drink. This my day. Lucky you. Hope you too. Woo! Y'all gotta move. Y'all gotta move. Y'all gotta move. Give me some room. Give me some room. Give me the juice. How about the coupe? How about the coupe? How about the shoot? Y'all gotta move.